This show is made possible by support from Landsharkz.ca. Visit them for all your coin and swag needs at www.landsharkz.ca. And by viewers like you. Thank you for your donations. 5 years and 50 episodes. We celebrate by, what else? Caching on Icenrye's geocaching video zine. Hi there, and welcome to Icenrye's geocaching video scene. I'm Icenrye, thanks for watching. If you're new to the show, welcome to the family. What this is myself, my co-host Roxy, my camera operator Abel. We go caching, film it, throw together a few hints, tips, and tricks, upload it to the internet so you can download and watch at your own leisure. If you're a regular viewer, thanks for sticking around, I appreciate your viewership. My website is icenrye.com and my email address is goicenrye@icenrye.com. So, what's new? Well, here we are at Easter long weekend in 2010, and question for you. Do you remember what you were doing about, say, 5 years ago? Well, 5 years ago on the Easter long weekend, I grabbed myself this very plastic container, my video camera, and a GPS unit. I came out here to Northwood Pulp Mill site, just north of Prince George, and hid the cache called a PG View number 5, the Smell of Money number 1. And this was the subject of Icenrye's geocaching video zine episode 1. Yes, this is now episode 50 and the 5th year anniversary of this video podcast. Guys, it's been an absolute blast. And if you've been hanging around since day one, thanks guys, I really do appreciate it. So, this episode's going to be a little different. It's not going to be your standard issue. I'm not going to have, there's no news, no coin giveaways. In this episode, we're going back old school for episode 50, and this is going to be straight caching. So, been out caching lately. I got some footage, not going to waste any more time. Let's roll into it. Good old-fashioned geocaching. So, out enjoying a sunny day of caching here in Prince George, and I'm trying out the geocaching app for the iPhone. Actually, most of my caching this year has been done with the iPhone application, and so far it hasn't been too bad. The GPS isn't the most accurate, but it is, after all, a telephone. But I sure like having the online connectivity, just being able to go down and download the latest data on the cache, and be able to upload your logs right there in the field. So, where I am now is having a little bit of trouble standing here because I'm on a very steep slope on the side of Connaught Hill here in Prince George. And I just found a cache by Malibu called Connaught Do It. And Connaught is the name of the hill, but this cache is difficult at best. The slope measures somewhere between 25 and 30 degrees. And it's not exactly comfortable standing here. Now it's pretty much a straight climb up from the parking lot. And as I look up, I think I can see where the Connaught Park Road goes by, but the first 20 feet or so of the descent is pretty much a 90-degree cliff, so it may be possible to come from the top, but it actually probably is a little easier to come from the bottom. But I'm not talking about the hillsides, I'm talking about the iPhone application here. So actually I'm standing right next to the cache, so I'm not quite going to show you everything. I struggle to stay in shot. But here's the screenshot. Hopefully you guys can see that. If not, it's easy enough for me to capture this. Now navigate to the cache, and I'm going to bring up the compass view, which looks something very similar to that. Now I'm not moving around right now, so it may have to settle down. May actually need a bit of movement. But right now it's showing me that I'm about 10 meters away from the cache, when in fact I can actually reach out and touch it. So what would my GPS do if I was here? I don't know. Garmin's at home today. I'm just using the iPhone application. I've done a lot of urban caching with it, and so far it's been very good. So I will be doing a more detailed report in an upcoming episode. Just sort of wanted to give you guys a heads up for what's going on. And besides, it's just really good to be out caching again. So I'm going to go back to the van, log this one, and go looking for something else. Cache on. So next I'm looking for a cache called Butterfly by Put Your Trust in Jesus. Now, the old iPhone app here is saying that I'm about 45-50 meters away, pretty much directly behind me. So we're going to do some good old-fashioned caching here. Let's see what we can find. Well, success. GPS took me right to the cache. I'm actually standing on it. As usual, I don't give away spoilers, but fortunately I also give a very good hint. So this one is actually designed to be fairly easy to find, and as I'm looking at this, well, it's up to 5 meters now, if you can see that in reflection. However, when I came to the cache, it actually had me right down to 1 meter. So I'm out here in the open, not a lot of tree cover, so in this kind of terrain it seems to do okay. So we'll have to go and find some caches in the trees and see what this bad boy can do. But in the meantime, let's have a look at the cache. Okay, so here it is. Here's the cache. Pop this puppy open, have a look. Logbook. And a few little goodies in there. Alright, now, according to the logs, this cache hasn't been found since last year. Let's see. Oh my, there's an entrance. There's an entry for today. April 3rd, 2010. Plumbrook Acres. Aha! Must be hot on his tail. Another one in April. That one's not on the list yet, so he's probably out traveling around and hasn't logged the cache yet. But anyway, you gotta kind of like that logbook. So Butterfly Cache by Put Your Trust in Jesus. Check it out if you're ever in the Prince George area. Alright, so we'll have some more caching coming right up here in a second. First, I was just thinking, you know, what's changed in the last 5 years? Well, from the podcast point of view, I now have a new camera. I shoot this in a 16:9, the nice high definition version, and hopefully it looks better on your iPod or your computer screen or however you watch it. And the other thing is equipment. When I first started caching, I had a good old-fashioned yellow Magellan Sport Trek. And I sold that unit off to a friend. She got into the sport, and I've since then gone to a Magellan Sport Trek mapping, went to the Garmin C60, and of course, as most of you know now, I use the iPhone in the geocaching application. And as I said in the caching footage, I'm sort of trying out some of the applications you can get for the iPhone, and I'll have a future report coming up here in an episode. But in the meantime, let's get back to some geocaching footage. So next on my caching list is a cache called Water Surrounds Me. Actually, let me spin around and make you guys all dizzy. Because the cache is on that island. And as you can see, a little bit of a river crossing involved. Fortunately, the water's not too deep right now. There's a path over there where I can go and keep my feet pretty dry. But strangely enough, where I'm standing is in the Chaco River here in the Prince George area. Now, if you follow the news, this is the same river that a couple of years ago actually completely flooded this industrial area that I'm standing behind. And if I just turn the camera around, you can see how high up the berm goes. And the water went over that. It was quite the sight to see. So, fortunately, not a lot of snow this year. Not a lot of water yet. We're going to go for the cache, so we're going to find a trail. We're going to find a trail, get across to the island, and we'll check in with you once we get over there. I'm on the island now. made it fairly dry. Shoes hardly got wet at all. So, 20 meters from the cache location, but this place is packed with deadwood. So, getting here is half the fun. Finding the cache, pretty difficult. So I'll go off looking, and as usual, I'll check in with you in a couple minutes, or however long it takes me to find the cache. Well, it took a bit more looking than I originally wanted to, but we found the cache. Very well hidden. I actually walked past the cache location about 4 or 5 times. GPS was pointing right to it. This classic case of, can't be there, that's too easy. No, that's where it was. So, I don't know if you can tell in this shot right now, but it's actually starting to rain and sleet and hail and snow all at the same time. And I'm not the U.S. Postal Service, so I'm getting the heck out of here. Anyway, we'll catch you at the next cache. Cache on. Oh, what's with this weather? Well, the rain stopped, so we're going to continue on with our caching here. It was nice, a little scary there for a second, but I digress. So, we're back in the bowl area of Prince George. Next cache I'm going for is called Secluded View, Wild Bunnies. So, I don't know what the bunny reference is all about. All the description says is that it's a small cache and there's an anthill nearby. So, it's off in this direction, about 75 meters from where I'm parked. Let's go find this sucker. This is an anthill. This thing is huge. Anybody home? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm not supposed to do that. This is the anthill. It must be close to the cache. Success! Found it. Took a really long time. All the previous logs kept talking about how people were on the wrong side of the creek. So let's just move the camera over to here. Point it around, have a look. There's a little creek there. When you first come by, the GPS coordinates sort of take you over to that area. But while I was on that side, I looked to the other side and saw a beautiful spot to hide a cache, if I were to hide one. So, the challenge was to find a way across the creek. Fortunately, just about 100 meters from here, there's a little bit of a bridge. So I came back and took a look, and after about 5 minutes, found it. Now, this cache, I'm not going to show it to you because the disguise itself is a bit of a surprise. But we found it, chalked another one up, and I like to do some more iPhone caching and film it for you guys. However, I'm just running into one problem with the phone. Battery life isn't that great, and I'm down to about 10% battery, so I gotta go plug it in, charge it up. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this afternoon. We're going to head back to the studio. Cache on. Okay, well there you go. There was some great footage shot on a slightly lustier day than it is at the moment when I'm recording right now. It's actually pretty nice today. It's a little cooler than it was yesterday, but hey, at least I'm not in a hailstorm. So, got the old Smell of Money #1 cache right here in front of me. Hey, let's see how this sucker's lived up over the past 5 years. First off, there's a couple of teeth marks in it. I don't know how well that's going to show up on camera. A couple little teeth marks there, one up on top. But let's pop this puppy open and see what's inside. So we have the Ziploc freezer bag. You might remember back in episode 1 where I mentioned the Ziploc freezer bags are much stronger than your regular Ziploc bags, and they're great for this sport because they hold up over time. And logbook's inside, so we're just going to grab it here and go back and check out some old log entries. So the first to find on this cache was March 29, 2005 by a gentleman called EBO24. And his log entry writes, "Working and living in Prince George long enough that I can't smell the money anymore. Nice view. First to find, took nothing, left nothing, signed lug. Tangled indeed." And where that last comment comes from is the secret hint for this cache is to be one with the cache, you must untangle the forest. So let's see what else is left in this cache. Well, here's the original geocaching note. Doesn't look too bad for wear until it's gotten wet. Someone didn't put it back in the envelope. There's some calling cards various people have left over time. A little toy car. And if I reach in here, I think I see... Let me just get it here. Have to go back and watch episode myself, but I'm trying to remember, is this the same Lamborghini Miura I put in the cache when I originally put it out? My God, this poor toy car has been in this cache for 5 years. I do recognize the balloons. I did put the balloons in there back in day one also. There's a leaf. We'll donate that back to nature. So there you go, 5-year-old cache. I know in some places that's not all that old, but up here in Prince George, it's doing pretty good. And I think this is the cache that started this whole craze when I wanted to do a little video on how to put one of these things together and hide it somewhere and record it on the geocaching.com website. And here I am 5 years later, still doing geocaching videos, still having a great time, and hopefully you guys have been enjoying them all along. So basically I want to wrap up the show now, but just a couple of quick notes. Make sure you do check out show sponsor Landsharkz at landsharkz.ca. They got some new coins coming out. Watch out for future contest. And also financial contributors to the show. Hey guys, thanks. Thank you very much for your financial contributions. And again, if you'd like to contribute something to the show, go to my website Icenrye.com and click on the PayPal buttons. But in the meantime, in between time, that's it. Another episode, the 50th episode, the 5-year anniversary episode of Icenrye's geocaching video zine. So until next year, next episode, cache on.